The fluorescent lights buzzed like angry hornets overhead, casting that cheap, unforgiving glow on the mirror that made every flaw scream for attention. I was halfway through shrugging off my button-down, sweat beading on my collarbone from the sticky July heat seeping through the store's AC vents, when Samuel dropped to his knees right there on the scuffed linoleum floor. His hands, those calloused, artist's fingers I'd watched sketch blueprints for half our firm's projects, gripped the hem of my jeans, tugging them down with a deliberate slowness that hit me like a freight train from Penn Station. "Ben, hold still," he murmured, voice low and gravelly, the kind that always cut through the bullshit of our 9-to-5 grind. But his eyes, those storm-gray eyes that could blueprint a skyscraper or unravel me with a glance, weren't on the zipper. They were locked on mine, pupils dilated in the half-shadow of the fitting room curtain, and in that split second, the air thickened, charged like the thunderheads rolling over the Hudson that afternoon. I froze, heart slamming against my ribs like it was trying to bust out and run for the subway. We'd been roommates since freshman year at Columbia, 4 years of late-night ramen and shared hangovers, dodging our uptight Midwestern family's calls about real jobs and settling down. Samuel Hayes, the golden boy from Ohio with the easy grin and the engineering degree that had us both slaving away at this midtown firm, dreaming of our own startup. Best friends. Brothers. The kind who high-fived over Nick's losses and split Ubers home from dive bars in the village. But now, his breath ghosted warm against my thigh, and the world narrowed to the rasp of denim on skin, the faint scent of his cedar cologne mixing with the starch from the new shirts draped over the hook. "Sammy, what the—" My voice cracked, barely above a whisper, because the sales guy was pacing outside, droning about flash sales on slim-fit chinos. But Samuel didn't flinch. He looked up at me, that crooked smile tugging at his lips, the one that said he'd aced another impossible deadline, and leaned in closer, his forehead brushing my hip bone like it was the most natural thing in the world. "Shut up and let me fix this," he said. But there was no fixing. Not the way his fingers lingered, tracing the inseam up my calf. Not the heat pooling low in my gut like I chugged a triple espresso. I'd buried this shit deep since that kegger sophomore year, when I'd stolen a kiss from a lacrosse player in the frat house bathroom and spent the next week puking from the guilt. Gay? Bi? Whatever label the shrinks in those mandatory wellness seminars slapped on it, I wasn't ready. Not with Mom's Bible study guilt trips echoing in my head. Not with the rainbow flags on campus feeling like a spotlight I wasn't wired for. Samuel was straight as the I-95, or so I told myself, chasing skirts at every rooftop party while I nursed crushes on baristas who looked like him. He stood slowly, unfolding like a question mark, his 6-foot frame crowding the tiny space until our chests nearly brushed. The mirror behind him doubled us, a funhouse echo of tension I couldn't unsee. "You good?" he asked, voice softer now, almost hesitant, like he just pitched a multimillion-dollar bid to the boss and wasn't sure it'd land. I nodded, throat dry as the Sahara, yanking the new jeans up like armor. "Yeah. Just hot in here. Lame. So fucking lame." We stumbled out, wallets lighter by $200 on impulse buys, laughing it off over falafel trucks on 8th Avenue. But that night, crashing on our ratty couch in the Bushwick walk-up, posters of Frank Lloyd Wright peeling from the walls, takeout boxes piling like modern art, sleep wouldn't come. I lay there in the dark, replaying the kneel, the touch, the way his eyes had stripped me bare without a single stitch of clothing shed. The next morning hit like a hangover without the fun. Alarm blaring NPR at 6 a.m., Samuel already in the kitchen brewing that god-awful black coffee he swore built character. He slid a mug my way, steam curling like secrets, and bumped my shoulder with his. Last night was weird. Ha! Casual, like we were dissecting a bad client pitch. I sipped, scalding my tongue on purpose. Weird how? You playing Taylor now? Deflect. Always deflect. He chuckled, low and rumbling, leaning against the counter with that post-shave glow that made him look like he stepped out of a J.Crew ad. Nah. Just saw you struggling with that zipper. Figured I'd help. A pause, heavy as the L train rumble underground. Ben, we've been through worse. Remember that blackout in 22? Whole city dark. Us wandering midtown like idiots till dawn. Yeah, I remembered. We'd shared a bench in Bryant Park, shoulders touching, talking dreams, him about sustainable high-rises that touched the clouds, me about graphic design gigs that paid the rent without selling my soul. That night, under the emergency lights flickering like stars, I'd almost said it. Almost bridged the gap between friends and whatever this ache was. But I didn't. Instead, I forced a grin. Heroes of the hour. What's the plan today? Another soul-crushing render deadline? The firm Hudson Blueprints, tucked in a glass tower off Times Square, chewed us up like cheap gum. Samuel, the wunderkind structural engineer, sketched load-bearing wonders while I mocked up elevations in AutoCAD, dreaming of indie studios in Brooklyn. Lunch was always the same. Corner deli sandwiches wolfed at our desks, trading barbs about Karen from accounting's passive-aggressive emails. That afternoon, though, Karen wasn't the villain. It was the new intern, Tyler, fresh-faced Iowa transplant with a jawline that could cut glass and eyes that lingered on Samuel during the team huddle. Love the archway concept. Sam, Tyler drawled, all Midwestern charm, clapping him on the back like they were old frat buddies. Samuel laughed, easy as pie, but I felt it twist in my chest like a bad weld. By quitting time, the subway ride home was a sardine can of regrets. Samuel scrolled his phone. Thumb pausing on a Grindr notification he quickly swiped away. Wait, Grindr? My brain short-circuited. Straight Sammy on the apps? Or was it a glitch? A downloaded dare from some bachelor party? You on that now? I blurted, the train lurching us closer. He blinked, caught. What? Oh, nah. Buddy of mine set it up as a joke. Delete that noise. But his ears pinked, and he shoved the phone in his pocket like contraband. Lies. Or half-truths. The kind that fester like untreated rebar rust. Back in the apartment, I cracked a beer, pacing the fire escape while the city hummed below, sirens wailing, taxis honking, the eternal pulse of New York that never let you hide. Samuel joined me eventually, two cans clinking in solidarity. Ben, about yesterday, don't. The word shot out sharper than intended. It's fine. We're fine, but we weren't. That Neil had cracked the foundation, and now the whole structure teetered. What if he knew? What if he'd always known? And this was his way of testing the waters, dipping a toe in the Hudson before diving headfirst? The weekend blurred into a haze of avoidance. Me buried in freelance gigs, him at the gym or meeting friends that smelled like cologne and cover stories. Saturday night, though, the universe conspired. A text from our old Columbia crew, rooftop rager in the East Village. Mandatory vibes only, we showed, because New York doesn't do solo sulks. The party was peak millennial mess, EDM thumping from Bluetooth speakers, Fairy lights strung like drunken spiderwebs over skyline views. Craft IPAs flowing like the East River at flood tide. Samuel blended in effortless, charming the host's sister with tales of our glory days, while I nursed a seltzer in the corner, eyes tracking him like a hawk on thermals. Then Tyler appeared, all 6'2" of golden retriever energy, slinging an arm around Samuel's shoulders. "Dude, you made it." Shots. They vanished into the crowd, laughter trailing like smoke. Jealousy hit sour, twisting my gut. I slipped downstairs to the host's cramped bathroom, splashing water on my face, staring at the mirror's cruel honesty. "Get it together, Benjamin," I muttered. Straight-edge Benjamin Roth. The reliable one. The friend who fixed your laptop at 2 a.m. but couldn't fix his own damn heart. Pushing back out, I found them on the fire escape, Tyler too close, hand on Samuel's knee, mirroring that fitting room nightmare. Except this time, Samuel didn't pull away. He leaned in, lips brushing Tyler's ear, and something in me shattered like safety glass. I bolted. Down the stairs, into the muggy night, blocks blurring under street lamps. By the time Samuel caught up, panting, jacket flapping like a cape, "Ben, wait, it's not. Save it." I whirled, tears hot and unwelcome. "Saw enough. You're playing both sides. Sammy? Fine. Play." His face crumpled, the city lights carving shadows deep as regrets. "It's not a game. Tyler's. Exploring. Like me." The word hung there, raw and real. "Like us." The dam broke. I grabbed his shirt, yanking him into the alley's shadows, our breaths mingling in the humid dark. Then what was the fitting room? A test drive? No. His hands framed my face, thumbs rough on my jaw. "It was me finally seeing you. All of you." And then he kissed me, fierce, desperate, tasting of whiskey and want. The world exploded in color. Horns faded, stars wheeled overhead, and for the first time, I didn't fight it. Kissed back, hands fisting his hair, bodies crashing like waves on Coney Island shores. We broke apart gasping, foreheads pressed. The alley's graffiti walls are only witnesses. "This changes everything," I whispered. Samuel's grin was shaky, but real. "Good. 'Cause I'm done pretending." That night, back in Bushwick, we didn't sleep. Clothes hit the floor in a tangle, bodies mapping uncharted territory, slow at first, tentative touches turning bold. Laughter bubbling through gasps as we learned each other's rhythms. His skin was freckled across the shoulders like constellations, my fingers tracing them like blueprints of a new world. Dawn crept in pink through the blinds, finding us tangled in sheets, his head on my chest, heartbeat syncing like perfect engineering. But New York doesn't do fairy tales without footnotes. Monday loomed, with its fluorescent hell and prying eyes. And Tyler? He was just the first crack in the facade. The elevator dinged its sterile welcome at Hudson Blueprints, spitting us out onto the 17th floor like yesterday's news. Samuel's hand brushed mine, accidental, electric, as we wove through the cubicle maze, coffee cups steaming like peace offerings. "Act normal," he muttered under his breath, but his eyes sparkled with that post-secret glow, the kind that made mundane Mondays feel like stolen afternoons in Central Park. Normal. Right. I dropped into my chair, firing up the dual monitors, but focus was a joke. Every ping of his desk chair 3 feet away yanked my gaze. The way his sleeves rolled to elbows, exposing forearms veined like rebar. The absent-minded chew on his pen cap, lips I'd bruised just hours ago. We were out, sort of, out to each other, in the bubble of our walk-up, where whispers became confessions and touches lingered without apology. But here, in the land of water-cooler gossip and HR sensitivity trainings, we were still just Ben and Sammy, the dynamic duo closing deals. Lunch brought the first test. Tyler sauntered over, tray balanced like a tightrope walk, that Iowa wholesomeness masking something sharper. "Hey, fellas. Sam, about that archway. Want to brainstorm after hours." His smile was all teeth, eyes flicking to me like an afterthought. Samuel stiffened, fork pausing mid-bite into his turkey club. Yeah. Sure. Ben, you in. Translation. Save me. I nodded, casual as a summer breeze. Wouldn't miss it. The afternoon dragged in a haze of spreadsheets and site visits. Me sketching elevations for a Tribeca condo tower. Him crunching load calcs for the same beast. By 5 p.m., the conference room felt like a pressure cooker. Tyler's enthusiasm boiling over while Samuel's responses grew clipped, his knee bumping mine under the table in silent SOS. "Love the curve here," Tyler gushed, leaning over Samuel's shoulder, close enough that his polo cologne clashed with Samuel's cedar. "Reminds me of that sculpture garden back home." I cleared my throat, sliding my tablet across. "What if we tweak the shear wall? More tension release." Boring tech talk. But it worked. Tyler's attention shifted, and Samuel's foot hooked mine, a grateful anchor. We escaped at 7, hailing a cab to our spot, that hole-in-the-wall taqueria on Avenue B, where the margaritas were strong and the booths dark enough for stolen glances. "Thanks for the bailout," Samuel said, lime wedge between his teeth, grin wicked. Tyler's. Intense. Intense or insistent? I teased, but the edge was there. Jealousy, that green-eyed bastard, whispering doubts over the salsa's heat. He reached across, fingers lacing mine under the table. Public risk. Private thrill. Just fishing. Like I was before the fitting room epiphany. Before us. The kiss that night was slower, savoring on the fire escape, city lights twinkling like approval. We talked dreams again, him engineering eco-skyscrapers that breathed with the wind, me designing interfaces that made cities feel human. "Together," he said, tracing my collarbone. "We build something real, real." The word anchored me through the weeks that followed, a montage of stolen moments. Mornings tangled in Egyptian cotton we'd splurged on, evenings wandering the High Line, hands brushing amid the wildflowers, weekends in bed till noon, bodies a language of size and skin. Samuel opened up in layers, his dad's steel mill layoffs in Ohio, the pressure to be the man of the house that buried his questions about who he really was. Thought it was a phase, he admitted one rainy Tuesday, thunder rattling the windows. Guys in the locker room, fooling around. But you, Ben, you're the phase that stuck. I shared too, the synagogue youth group back in Jersey where I'd learned to pray away the pull toward the boys' soccer team, the Columbia counselor who'd nodded sympathetically but warned about complications in a world that still side-eyed us. "Complications like this?" Samuel joked, pulling me closer. But his eyes held the weight, families, futures, the firm's bro culture that thrived on beer pong and blind dates. Complications arrived via FedEx 2 weeks later, an invite to Samuel's cousin's wedding in Cleveland. Family obligation, he groaned, tossing the embossed card on the coffee table. Mom's been on me about plus ones. Thinks I'm eligible, my stomach nodded. Take Tyler. He's got that wholesome vibe your aunties would eat up. Jealous, he pounced, tickling till I begged mercy, but the seed was planted. We RSVP'd as +1 TBD, but the flight out loomed like a guillotine. Cleveland was a culture shock, flatlands and family barbecues, Samuel's clan a whirlwind of hugs, and Sammy Boy's that made my skin crawl with outsider vibes. We crashed at his parents' split level, me on the pull-out couch in the basement, him upstairs dodging Mom's matchmaking. She's got this coworker, Lisa, divorced, perfect for me, he whispered that first night, sneaking down with a six-pack. I laughed it off, but the air hummed with unspoken fears. What if this us was just a city thing, a New York fever dream that evaporated in the Midwest heartland? The rehearsal dinner was a minefield. Aunts cooing over Tyler, who'd tagged along as the fun intern, per Samuel's weak excuse. Uncles grilling about career paths, while eyeing my graphic tee like it was a tattoo parlor ad. Samuel stuck close, arms slung casual around my shoulders. Ben's my right-hand man, but the wine flowed, and so did the stories. Remember when Sammy brought that girl from high school to prom? Uncle Ray boomed, slapping the table. What was her name? Brittany? Broke his heart. Samuel's laugh was tight, fingers drumming his glass. Ancient history, Ray. But later, in the hotel bar across the street, our escape pod, he drained a Scotch neat. They don't get it. Never will. Get what? Pressed. Though I knew. Him. Me. Us. His voice cracked on the last, and he pulled me into the booth shadows, kiss fierce and fleeting. I love you, Ben. You know that. The words landed soft as snow, melting every doubt. Love you too, Sammy. We stumbled back to the room, separate beds for show, but the door locked, and the night blurred into urgency. Hands mapping scars, whispers weaving promises against the hum of the AC. Wedding day dawned crisp, the church a Gothic relic smelling of polished pews and potluck casseroles. Samuel stood up front as groomsman, tux sharp as a blueprint, while I fidgeted in the back row, heart swelling at his vows recitation, irony thick as the incense. Cousin Emily glowed, rings exchanged amid applause, but my eyes stayed on him, the man who'd knelt and risen, changing my gravity. The reception was a tented affair in the backyard, fairy lights and foil balloons bobbing like dreams deferred. Tyler cornered us by the cake, 3 whiskeys deep. You two are thick as thieves, he slurred, arm heavy on Samuel's shoulder. Reminds me of back home, buddies till the end. Samuel shrugged him off, gentle but firm. Yeah, well, ends change. Tyler's eyes narrowed, piecing it, the touches, the looks, and grinned slow, predatory. Secrets. Huh? Cleveland's small. Word travels. The threat hung, but we danced it off, Samuel pulling me onto the floor for a bro sway that fooled no one, our hips sinking to the band's cover of Wonderwall. Laughter bubbled, free and fizzy, until Mom Hayes tapped my arm. Benjamin, dear, such a good influence on our Sammy. But tell me, when are you settling down? Nice Jewish girl waiting. The punchline died on her lips as Samuel swept in. Mom, Ben's got his pick. Leave the guy alone. Protective. Fierce. My night in Cummerbund. We flew back Sunday, buzzed on wedding cake and what-ifs, crashing into JFK's chaos like returning heroes. But Tyler's parting shot lingered. A text to Samuel that night, screenshot forwarded to me, "Fun weekend. Let's keep exploring. Your secret's safe. For now." Winking face. "Delete it," I said, voice steel. Samuel did, but the crack widened. Work soured next. A big pitch for the Tribeca project, our baby, months of sweat equity, landed us in the conference room with the brass. Samuel presented, voice steady as he walked through the renders. Sustainable curves, green roofs blooming like rooftop gardens. I synced the visuals, pride swelling as heads nodded. Then Tyler piped up, uninvited. "Great start, Sam. But what about seismic retrofits? I mocked something up last week. Could integrate here. Slides flipped. Our concept, tweaked with his innovations. Plagiarism in pixels." The room erupted, praise for team effort, but Samuel's jaw clenched white-knuckled. "Ben and I developed this core. Your add-ons are appreciated." Post-meeting, Tyler cornered him in the copy room. I overheard, lurking like a bad spy novel, "Chill, man. Just helping." Like in Cleveland, sharing the load. Samuel's laugh was ice. "Load's fine. Back off." But Tyler didn't. Emails escalated, collaborations that stole credit, happy hours where he'd sidle up, breath boozy. "We're alike, you and me." Exploring the edges. One Thursday, it boiled over. I found Samuel in the stairwell, head in hands, Tyler's tie askew on the floor like shed skin. He tried. Cornered me. Said if I didn't. The words choked out. Unwanted hands. A kiss stolen and shoved away. Rage blinded. I stormed Tyler's desk. Fists balled. "You touch him again. You're done." He smirked, unfazed. "Jealous? Wroth? Or just mad your boy's not all yours?" HR got involved. Whispers of misunderstandings. NDAs waved like white flags. Tyler transferred to the Philly office. Golden parachute intact. But the damage festered. Samuel withdrew. Nights spent sketching alone. Our bed a chasm of unspoken blame. "You're pulling away," I accused one night. Rain lashing the windows like accusations. "I'm protecting us," he shot back, voice raw. "This world's not kind to guys like us." The fight spilled. My fears of being the phase. His terror of losing family, job, the American dream we'd blueprint together. Doors slammed, silences stretched, until I packed a bag for my sisters in Queens, temporary exile in a sea of unpacked boxes. 2 days felt eternal. Texts unanswered, calls to voicemail. Then, a knock at midnight. Samuel, soaked from the downpour, eyes red-rimmed. "I can't do this without you." We collided. Forgiveness in the doorway, bodies slick and desperate. But the storm outside mirrored the one within. Thunder rolling, doubts crackling. Fall crept in like a thief, gilding Central Park's leaves in fool's gold while our foundation cracked deeper. Samuel threw himself into work. Late nights at the office, blueprints bleeding into bar tabs, while I freelanced from coffee shops, sketching logos for startups that promised revolution but delivered stock photos. "Space," he'd said after the makeup, like it was a design flaw we could spec out. But space bred ghosts. Tyler's shadow in every team email. Mom's voicemails probing, "Everything okay?" Boys, we met for dates stolen, scripted. Dinner at that Italian joint in Nolita, where the candlelight danced on his cheekbones and we pretended the world wasn't watching. Remember our first real date? He asked over tiramisu, fork tracing mine. The fitting room didn't count. Our first official was a picnic in Prospect Park, prosciutto and panic attacks as joggers eyed our linked pinkies. How could I forget? You spilled wine on my sketchbook. Laughter bridged the gap. But his eyes held storms, unspoken apologies for the distance he'd carved. The real fracture hit mid-October. A client gala at the Met, black tie schmooze fest where architects networked like sharks in tuxes. Samuel shone, schmoozing VPs with visions of glass spires piercing the clouds, while I hovered peripheral, graphic mock-ups on my phone like party favors. You're killing it, I whispered during a slow dance. Our cover as bros with moves, his hand low on my back, thumb circling a promise. Then she appeared, Elena Vasquez, the firm's star project manager, all sleek chignon and power heels, clinking flutes with Samuel like old flames. Sam Hayes, still building dreams? Her laugh was silk over steel, eyes appraising me as the creative half. We'd met before, holiday parties, elevator nods, but tonight, wine loose. She lingered. Join us for afters? Industry crowd at the Dead Rabbit. Samuel glanced at me, hesitant. Ben's got early renders. Bring him, she purred. We need fresh eyes. Against better judgment. We went. The Irish pub thrummed. Fiddles wailing. Whiskey neat for the bold. Elena held court. Tales of Dubai high-rises and Tokyo flops. Samuel leaning in. Animated in a way I hadn't seen since Columbia. Jealousy simmered low. But I played wingman, chiming in with UI quips that drew laughs. Midnight blurred edges. Shots of Jameson. Elena's hand on Samuel's arm. Missed your fire. Haze. And him not pulling away. When she whispered something that creased his brow in that thoughtful furrow, I excused myself to the bar, heart thudding like bass. The bartender slid a Guinness my way. Rough night. You have no idea. I nursed it slow, watching the tableau, her leaning closer, his nod reluctant but there. Betrayal? Or business? The line blurred in the peat smoke haze. Samuel found me eventually. Elena vanished to powder her nose. Hey! He slid onto the stool, knee knocking mine, habit, anchor. You okay? Fine. Lie tasted bitter. She seems interested. He snorted, ordering a soda water, designated driver mode. In the project. She's spearheading the bid, right? And the touching? That's clause 12B. His face fell, realization dawning. Ben, it's nothing. Old colleague stuff. Old like Tyler? The words lashed out. Whiskey sharp. He recoiled, stool scraping. Low blow. That's not, isn't it? You're the one who said protecting us. By flirting with the first power suit who bats lashes. Paranoia poured, fueled by amber liquid and old wounds. Elena's return cut the cord. Everything good. Boys. And we fled. Cab ride silent as the Holland Tunnel. Home was a battlefield. My bag half-packed again, his pleas echoing off brick walls. I love you, Ben. This city's poison makes us doubt everything. Doubt you, I spat. Or doubt us. He left at dawn, crashing at a buddy's in Harlem. Days stretched elastic, texts like lifelines. Miss you. Coffee, ignored in my spite. My sister Rachel, with her therapist wisdom and takeout tie, cornered me over pad CEW. You're scared, Benny. Of losing him, yeah, but more of having him. What that means. She was right. Gay in America. Parades in June. But November brought ballots that chipped rights like frost on windshields. Samuel's family texts piled up. When's the next visit? Oblivious to the man he hid for them. Mine called too. Dad's gruff, proud of you. Son masking the synagogue sermons I dodged. Reconciliation came circuitous. A mutual friend's birthday bash in Williamsburg. Warehouse thumping with house beats and glow sticks. We arrived separate, me with Rachel. Him solo in that leather jacket that hugged his shoulders like sin. Eyes met across the strobe-lit crowd. Magnetic north pulling us through sweat-slick bodies. No words at first, just a corner booth. Knees touching. Beers clinking truce. I'm sorry, he started. Voice near shout over the bass. Elena's nothing. A ghost from before you. Before the kneel? I half smiled. Ice thawing. He laughed. Bro. Yeah. Before I knew what real looked like, his hand found mine under the table. Thumb stroking knuckles. Public peril. Private salvation. We danced then, lost in the throng. Bodies sinking like CAD layers aligning. Sweat and strobe lights. His breath on my neck. Come home. I did. That night sealed with slow urgency. Fire escape confessions under harvest moon. Bodies arching like suspension bridges. No more space, he vowed. Fingers laced in mine. We're solid. Winter bit early. Snow dusting the Williamsburg Bridge like powdered sugar on regret. The Tribeca Project greenlit our win. Champagne pops in the office kitchen, and momentum built. Weekend getaways to the Catskills. Cabin rented on a whim. Where we hiked trails hand in hidden hand. Fucked by the fireplace till embers died. Samuel sketched ecodomes on napkins. I mocked apps to manage them. Wrath and haze, he murmured one dawn. Snow falling soft outside. Partners in crime. And cribs. The word cribs. Shorthand for homes. Futures stirred something deep. Domesticity. Not shackles, but shelter. But cracks spiderwebbed. Christmas loomed. Families pulling like tides. Samuel's Ohio clan expected him solo. Bring a girl next time. While mine in Jersey planned Hanukkah with eligible cousins. We could go together, I suggested over lax at a deli, but his flinch said no. Not yet. The yet was a lifeline. Frayed but there. New Year's brought pivot. A party at the firm. Rooftop overlooking the ball drop. Confetti cannons primed. Elena was there, promoted. Radiant but distant. Toasting Samuel with professional chill. Tyler's ghost, buried in Philly memos. Midnight struck. Auld Lang Syne crooning. And Samuel pulled me to the edge. City exploding in pyrotechnic glory. Resolution, he shouted over cheers, lips brushing my ear. Full out. No hiding. Heart soared. Fireworks mirroring the burst in my chest. We kissed amid the chaos. Brief but bold. Hands clasped as the ball fell. January thawed illusions. Samuel's mom called. Sammy. Honey, your father's not well. Heart stuff. Come home. Panic laced her voice. And he booked the red eye. Me tagging as moral support. Ohio in winter. Gray skies. Salt-crusted roads. The mill town's rust belt ache. Samuel's dad. Grizzled in his lazy boy. Wheezed greetings. Good to see ya, Ben. But eyes sharpened on our two closed shoulders. Hospital visits blurred. Beeps and bad coffee. Samuel's hand squeezing mine in sterile halls. One night, motel room adjacent to the ICU, tension snapped. "He knows," Samuel whispered, pacing threadbare carpet. "The way he looks. Like I'm disappointing him all over again." "You're not." I pulled him down. Arms iron bands. "You're you. And that's enough." But dawn brought the bomb. Dad. Post-surgery. Cornering Samuel in the cafeteria. I overheard from the hall voices rising like steam. "That boy Ben. What's he to you? Don't lie to me, son." Silence. Then Samuel's break. "Everything, Dad. He's my partner." The word echoed. Seismic. Footsteps stormed. Dad emerging. Face thunderous. "Partner? Like that? In my house." Samuel stood firm. Chin lifted. "In our life. Deal with it." Exile followed. Dad's grunts. Mom's tears. Samuel's resolve cracking in the rental car southbound. "Lost him." He choked. Tears freezing on cheeks. "For us. You gained truth. Hollow comfort. But true." Back in NYC. Spring bloomed defiant. Cherry blossoms in Washington Square. Our bench claimed for picnics. But the rift lingered. Samuel's calls home terse. My reassurances wrote. Elena's promotion party sealed the shift. Her invite personal. As friends. He went alone. I stayed. Sketching alone. He came back late. Scotch on his breath. Eyes distant. She offered me the lead on Dubai. Solo gig. Big money. Pride. Jealousy. Again her. The job. The escape. Us. But his pack was half done. Passport peaking. The fight was apocalypse. Accusations flying. Running like Tyler scared you. "You're suffocating me." Until he slammed out. Door rattling like judgment. Days bled. Unanswered texts. Empty side of the bed. Rachel's couch again. Her hugs and "he'll come back" mantras my lifeline. Then, a package. His sketchbook. Pages filled with us. Fire escapes. Fitting rooms. Intertwined initials on spires. Note inside. "Knees bent me toward you. Don't let me straighten alone." I flew to him, impulse ticket to JFK. Then cab to the airport Marriott where he'd crashed pre-flight. Door opened. He pulled me in, broken and whole. "Don't go." "I'm not." Lies confessed. Fears aired. His terror of becoming his dad. Trapped in denial. My dread of being the footnote in his American ascent. We rebuilt. Brick by blueprint. Therapy sessions in Chelsea. Rainbow pins on briefcases. A lease renewed with both names bold. Summer solstice party. Our crowd. Rooftop redux. Samuel knelt again, not in fitting rooms, but amid cheers. Ring box open. Simple band. Engraved. Everything. Yes, I breathed, pulling him up into forever. But forever's a blueprint. Not the build storms hit. Foundations shift. Dubai called insistent. Emails from Elena. Irreplaceable asset. Laced with subtext that twisted my gut. Samuel deferred, citing personal commitments. But the offer lingered like humidity before a squall. "It's a launch pad." He argued over diner eggs one muggy August morning, yolk breaking like resolve. For Roth and Hayes. Think bigger, bigger. The word fueled our side hustle. Weekend war room in the walk-up, laptops glowing as we pitched indie eco-projects. Modular homes for queer youth shelters. Apps mapping safe spaces in the 5 boroughs. Investors nibbled. a VC from Brooklyn with tattoos and TED Talk vibes. But cash flow was a trickle. Hudson's grind the dam. Autumn's palette turned tense. Leaves falling like warnings. Samuel's sketches edgier. Lines jagged as unspoken doubts. My freelance dried up, clients ghosting like bad dates, and bar tabs climbed. "We're fine," he'd say, kissing foreheads. But fine was the lie we knelt for. The betrayal brewed subtle. Late meetings with Elena, her texts popping on his screen. Genius as always. Dinner to celebrate. Professional, he swore. But dinners stretched. Returning with her perfume ghosting his collar. Laughs looser than blueprints allowed. November chill bit deeper than politics. Headlines screaming about rights rolled back. Protests in D.C. we watched from afar. Hands clasped but hearts heavy. "This country's fracturing," Samuel muttered one election night. TV flickering blue defeat. "Like us? No." But the seed took root. I confronted over Thanksgiving leftovers, turkey cold as accusations. "Elena's more than work, isn't she?" His fork clattered. "Jealous again? It's a job, Ben. A job that texts at midnight? That celebrates without me." Voice rose, echoing off for Micah. He stood, chair scraping judgment. "You're seeing Tyler ghosts. Elena's straight, married, for fuck's sake. This is paranoia. Paranoia or pattern." The fitting room Neil felt eons ago. That raw vulnerability paved over with compromises. Then prove it. Cut the dinners. Can't. It's networking, defiant, but eyes darted guilt's tell. The door slammed on my way out, crashing at Rachel's for the holiday. Her Sufganiate and sympathy a bomb, but hollow. Samuel's texts, "Come home. Please," ignored, till Black Friday sales mocked our sales pitch failures. Reentry was rocky. Him waiting with pizza and apologies. Bed a battlefield of make-up sex that left bruises and doubts. "No more Elena," he vowed, deleting threads. But trust, once bent, doesn't straighten clean. Winter solstice brought the storm. A holiday party at Hudson. Snow globe elegant in the plaza's ballroom. Chandeliers dripping light like liquid gold. We arrived arm in secret arm. Samuel's hand warm in mine under the coat check. "One night out," he whispered, kissing knuckles. For us. The room swirled, suits and gowns. Jazz trio crooning White Christmas ironic against the city's grit. Elena held court by the bar, emerald gown hugging curves, spotting us with a wave that chilled. "Darlings, Sam, you brought Ben finally." Friendly fire. We mingled, champagne fizzing nerves, until a slow dance pulled us to the floor, cover as colleagues, but hips swaying intimate, breaths sinking to strings. "Love you," he murmured into my hair, world fading to our orbit. Then fracture. Elena tapped his shoulder mid-twirl. "A word?" The Dubai addendum, urgent. He hesitated, eyes pleading mine, 5 minutes, and vanished into a side alcove, her hand light on his elbow. Minutes stretched elastic. I nursed a flute, small talk with Karen from accounting droning static. Eyes locked on the curtain nook. Shadows shifted, her laugh tinkling, his head tilt familiar, too close. Then, a lean in, her lips brushing his cheek, air, or more. Rage propelled, bursting through velvet, words tumbling. "Everything okay?" Samuel startled, Elena smirking cool. "Just sealing the deal, Ben." "Congrats on the project." Sam's lead. Dubai. The word gut-punched. You took it. His face ashen. Not yet. Negotiating terms. Terms like solo? Voice cracked. Party hum mocking. Elena excused silkily, leaving wreckage. Ben. The 6 months. For us, stability. The startup. Us? Or escape. Accusations flew, her interest. His deflections, till he grabbed my arm, dragging to the coat room's chill. I love you. This is survival. Survival straight? The barb landed low, drawing blood. His slap wasn't physical, worse. A flinch. Ice shuddering. Fuck you, Ben. You think this is easy? Hiding for families. Fighting for scraps in a city that chews dreamers. Tears hot. I yanked my coat. Kneel for her. Then. See if she changes everything. The cab ride home, solo. Snow whipping was purgatory. Blocks blurring. Heart fracturing like ice on the East River. Apartment empty by dawn. His note on the fridge. Need air. Back soon. Love. Soon was weeks. Radio silence. Then a call from Rachel. He's in Dubai. Signed last night. Said to tell you. Sorry. Betrayal crystallized. I packed his shit, sketches, suits, that damn cedar cologne. Shipping it express. Note terse. Build your towers. Ours fell. Grief's architecture. Days in bed. Nights pacing fire escapes. City lights mocking isolation. Freelance trickled. A queer mag cover. Pride flags in pixels, but joy was ash. Therapy unpacked. Abandonment blueprint, the shrink said. From dads who preached provide but couldn't. Spring equinox thawed me slow. Runs in the park. Brunches with Rachel's crew. Diverse. Alive. A hookup at a leather bar in Hell's Kitchen, fleeting. Forgettable, taught the void's shape. Samuel-sized. Then, May Bloom, email ping. His name. Ben. Home in June. Talk. The word dangled. Hook-baited. I typed back. Coffee. Neutral ground. The diner on 9th, same booth as fights past. Felt like time warp. He slid in. Tanned and tired. Dubai dust in his eyes. Missed you. Missed the lie. Blunt. But earned. He winced. Ordering black. Elena. It happened. Once. Weeknight. Too much Eric. Hated myself. Confession's knife. Twist. Gut. Once? Or more? Once. Swore off. Came back for you. Voice broke. Hand reaching, I pulled away. Why her? After everything. Fear. Of us failing here. Thought straight passing bought time. Time. The thief. You knelt for truth once. Now, you're standing on lies. He nodded, tears tracking. Help me rebuild? Temptation ward. Love's embers. Anger's blaze. Not yet. I stood, leaving cash for the check. Earn it. Summer scorched penance. His gestures piled. Flowers at my door. Voicemails cracking with pleas. Sketches of our towers slipped under sills. I dated casual, a barista with tattoos. A writer from the mag. But echoes haunted. No cedar. No storm eyes. July 4th. Fireworks over the Hudson. Me alone on a pier. Sparks mirroring heart stutter. Phone buzzed him. Watching from the bridge. Wish you here. I typed. Kneel again. Reply. Every day. August heat wave broke with rain. Torrents like baptism. He showed at the walk-up. Soaked. No umbrella. Ben. Please. Door cracked. Him spilling in arms. Apologies. Forgive. Not yet. But bodies remembered. Slow unravel. Rain pattering judgment. Prove. He did, quitting Hudson. Elena's empire crumbling without him. Nights volunteering at the shelter. Hands dirty with hope. We dated anew. Awkward coffees turning deep dives. Fitting room ghosts exorcised in therapy's light. Fall harvest. Our pitch landed VC funding for Roth and Hayes. Queer inclusive designs blooming. But trust's rebar rusted slow. One crimson-leafed eve. Central Park bench, our first. Marry me? He asked. Ring trembling, same band. Repolished. Heart swelled. Scars twinging. Yes. But no more bends. Winter wrapped us tentative, blanket of snow on the startup's first office. A loft in Dumbo with views of the Brooklyn Bridge's Gothic grace. Roth and Hayes took shape. Whiteboards scrawled with sustainable dreams. Interns buzzing like bees in a hive of possibility. Samuel Dove in. Sleeves rolled. His energy infectious. This is us. Ben. Unbreakable. Unbreakable? Steel bends before it breaks. And ours tested in subtle stresses. Families thawed uneven. My Jersey clan, post-Hanukkah heart-to-heart, sent rainbow menorahs, love's light, while his Ohio holdouts simmered. Dad's calls gruff but thawing. Proud. Son. Mostly. But America's chill lingered. Headlines of raids on clubs. Bills carving closets from state houses. Our first project, a tiny home village for LGBTQ plus youth in the Bronx, drew flack. Pickets at the groundbreaking. Slurs spray-painted on plywood. Faggot factories. One red as rage. Samuel shielded. Fists clenched at pressers. This is humanity. Not headlines. But nights. He paced. Whiskey warming worries. What if we fail them? Like I failed you. You didn't. Lies mended with touches. But scars itched. Spring equinox marked year 1. Anniversary toast in the loft. Candlelight on takeout tie. To knees that changed us, he quipped, pulling me to the rug. Slow love. Laughter weaving through gasps. But Elena's echo resurfaced. A conference in Chicago. Her keynote on innovative partnerships. Samuel keynote 2 solo invite. Networking essential. One night, he promised. Kissing goodbye at LaGuardia. Back by dawn. Dawn came empty. Texts. Delayed panel. Love. Then radio. Calls to voicemail. Elena's Insta stories glowing. Her arm linked his at the gala afterparty. Captions, dynamic duo reunited. Gut hollowed. I paced the loft. Rain lashing windows like recriminations, memories flashing. Fitting room heat. Dubai dust. Her silk laugh. By midnight, flight booked. Impulse fury. Credit card screaming. O'Hare to the Hilton. Desk clerk's nod. Mr. Hayes. Penthouse. Elevator ascent felt freefall. Heart hammering blueprints of betrayal. Door cracked at my knock. Samuel. Shirt untucked. Eyes widening. Ben? What? Dynamic duo? Venom dripped. Shoving past to the suite. Rumpled bed. Her earrings on the nightstand like landmines. He followed. Door clicking doom. It's not. Panel ran late. Drinks for the bid. Bid? Or bed? Voice shattered. Tears hot. Elena emerged from the bath. Robe-clad. Smug. Benjamin. Dramatic entrance. Out. To her. Steel. She dressed leisurely, heels clicking judgment. Call me, Sam, gone. Silence suffocated. Tell me, I demanded, fists balled against collapse. Nothing happened, pleading. Talk, whine old habits. But I stopped it. For us. Stopped or started. Evidence mounted. Lipstick on his collar. Faint but there her shade. Scarlet sin. His crumble. Knees buckling to the carpet. Face in hands. I fucked up. Again. Weak. Scared, the spotlight. The power. Thought one night wouldn't. Won't what? Break us. Sobs racked. Mine mirroring. You knelt for her ego. Sammy. Not mine. He looked up. Wrecked. Echo of that fitting room. But twisted. I hate myself. More than you could. The choice loomed, walk or weld. Hours bled. Confessions raw. His bisexuality's blur. Straight passing privileges he'd clung to like lifelines. My insecurities. The boy who'd prayed away love till it prayed back. Dawn crept gray. Coffee cold between us. Go, I said finally. Voice ash. Build without me. He didn't. Stayed. Begging, therapy tripled. AA meetings for the wine. Our projects paused for healing's hammer. Summer sweltered penance. Him volunteering double time. Me designing murals for the village. Rainbows on brick. Defiant. Fall's harvest. Launch day for the tiny homes. Ribbon cut under crisp skies. Kids' eyes wide with home's promise. Samuel spoke, voice steady. Hand in mine, public now. This is for the bent knees, the changed hearts. For love that rebuilds. Cheers erupted. Cameras flashing. Our outness, unapologetic. Elena, faded to footnote. Her bids lost to our authenticity. But healing's not linear. Winter's grip tested. A fight over Dad's funeral. Samuel's Ohio return solo. Closure needed. I let him. Trust tenuous as ice. He came back changed. Dad's letter in pocket. Son, be true. Love fierce. Sorry I wasn't. Tears shared. Barriers breached. Spring renewal. Vows renewed. Not rings but resolutions. Under cherry blossoms. Knees to earth in promise. No more bends, he echoed. Lips sealing. Years layered. Roth and haze towered. NYC skyline etched with our lines. Shelters sprouting nationwide. Kids we housed became interns. Stories weaving into ours. One dusk. Rooftop of our first home. Sold but sentimental, we stood. City humming benediction. Everything changed that day, Samuel murmured, arms circling from behind. I leaned back, his chin on my shoulder. For better. Mostly. The kneel, mythic now. Foundation stone. America, flawed forge. Hammered us human, bent, but unbowed. In the end, love's not towers touching clouds, but hands clasped through storms. We built that. Solid. Human. Ours.